So good evening from
What's going on, y'all?
DK3Z and
Monte.
So today we just wanted to talk about blended families and the importance of relationships with both the bonus parents as well as the biological parents and the balance that comes with that. For me, I'm going to speak from the parent, the biological parent, I guess. I don't like using that term, but for this purpose, I'll use it as the biological mother. And Monty will come from the angle of the bonus father. So for me, one of the things I had to take into consideration when getting into another relationship was basically letting that person know that we're a package deal. You know, I have children. No, they all do not have the same father. So I was basically letting him know, or trying to prepare him for what he could possibly be getting into. You know, I let him know, hey, I have 3 kids, 2 of whom are teenagers. Prior to marrying Monty, I talked to their fathers, and you know, I let them know, hey, this is what's getting ready to happen. This is who he is, and I gave them an opportunity to basically speak to him if they wanted to. They chose not to, but you know, I offered after talking to Monty just to make sure that line of communication was there, because I didn't want them to feel like, oh, you know, you're trying to replace us, you're trying to do this. No, we would never try to do that, because that's their father. You know, Monty is their bonus father. So for me, that was one of the important things, that my kid's biological father and Monty had some sort of communications. I knew with just the way my relationship with them was that they all weren't going to be like best buddies, like, hey Monty, what's up, how my kid? I knew that wasn't going to happen, but I wanted to ensure that that option was out there for communication. If they can't get in touch with me, they can always get in touch with him, or they can call the kids directly, because the kids got their their own phone lines. But just for me, coming from the mother point, you know, just that line of open communication, communicating with my kid's father and, you know, Monty, keeping that together, as well as, you know, for me, if Monty would have had children of his own coming into the relationship, I would ensure the same thing. Like, just like you in my kid's life, be in your biological kid's life. It's not, oh, bonus dad do this, bonus dad do this, bonus dad do this, but bonus dad ain't doing that for his biological kids. That's not acceptable. Any woman that allows that to happen, you're wrong. There's no easy way to put it. You never, ever, 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 unless the biological father is like some crazy person that would cause that child bodily harm or emotionally harm them or something like that, you don't keep your child from a willing father. That's totally wrong. You don't go into a new relationship and then forget about your biological kids. So that was the point of view I wanted to come from, but I really more so I'm going to turn over to Monty so he can share his experience, because I feel like he had the most drastic change in this whole marriage and this whole bonus parent blended family situation.
So, yes, it was a drastic change. It was I wouldn't say extremely, but it was a big change. Just jumping into a father role, especially with teenagers, it's rough, but fulfilling at the same time. It's just, growing up, I grew up with a stepmom. You know, my dad with my parents. My dad got remarried, and me now being a stepdad, understand how hard it is to raise children. Even though I look at my kids, anybody ask, I won't say, oh, that's my stepchild or that's my stepson, stepdaughter. None of that. Those are my kids. This is my son. This is my daughter. This is my daughter. You know, and that's, in my opinion, that's how you should go into wanting to raise kids, regardless if they're biologically yours or not. If you choose to be with the woman you love in marriage, or however, when you know their kids come as a package deal, in my opinion, you should be ready to step up. Not saying it's going to be easy. It's never easy. Definitely hard. But you should get a fulfilling feeling from, you know, raising children, period. Because of the simple fact, now you know you worked hard to make this child a better person in the long run. In my head. Now, this is me just, I want to put this out that we're just telling us our opinion on it. We're not trying to tell anybody how to raise their kids, how to live their life. This is just our advice, because we want to share our love with the world. This is the whole purpose of us having this page. Now, me being a stepdad, challenges is very hard because of the simple fact my kids know their biological father and for the most part keep in touch with their dad. You know, and I'm not trying to replace any dad. That's not what I want. I just want to nurture my kids. I just want to be there and wish they take my good habits and not my bad, which isn't always the case in children. But you know, that's what I go for, and I try to be stern with them on that, on how they should, their direction as far as being a good person, not decision making as far as what they should do with their life. I want them to do what makes them happy, but also if they're going to do something make you happy, be smart about it. I'm new at being a dad. I'm very new, so I jumped from being inexperienced in a sense to just going forward, but my intentions have always and will always be good for my kids. I'll never lead them in the wrong direction. I'll never ever bring them any harm. I know I'm doing all I can do to make sure that they know that they're secure with me at all times. If they need me for anything, they can come to me. But they don't come to me for everything. I have a bond with all my kids, but every bond is different. Because of the simple fact, like she said, my kids are two teenagers. They're kind of confused on how to actually accept me because of the simple fact they still have their dad in their life. You know, so they don't want their dad to be angry for loving me, which shouldn't be the case, but you know, that's something they have to go through, and I'm trying to help them understand. So is Z, trying to help them understand you don't have to choose to love a person. If you love them, you love them, especially if you know that their intentions is always going to be good for you. So, I mean, that's pretty much my intake on bringing a blended family, because I'm kind of the key component that's making the family blended. But as advice to other men stepping into a stepfather role, try not to look at your kids as stepchildren. If you're going to be a dad, that's what you are. Is be with good intentions. Don't ever. It can be frustrating because kids test you. But especially if you're the man of the house, what you say goes. Stay stern. That's dad's job. Stay stern. Be hard on them so they can have an easier life going up. You know, so they can lead them in the right direction. But once again, this is my intake on being a parent. It's never me being stern. It's never about me being angry or mean. Never comes for an angry or mean place. Sometimes frustrated when you know, well, that's human. But I always want the best for my kids. Always. I always want them to, I'll hope for they have so much potential to do great things, and I know they will. I just do my job to lead them in the right direction as far as character, having good character, you know, common sense, among other things. So, yeah, I mean,
also to add to that, as the parent, whether it's like a bonus mom or a bonus dad, you know, it's just so happened for us, you know, it's the bonus dad situation. But at any rate, for me as a once single parent, I had to learn to compromise, and I had to learn to step back in the same token, because at one point I did it all. I had to be the nurturer, I had to be the disciplinarian, I had to be mom, I had to be dad. I had no choice, you know. I'm not, this video is not to put down my kids' biological fathers.
Not at all.
Not,
put that out
please
there.
don't take it that way. But they're each different. You know, two of them communicate well with us, one doesn't, you know. So it's hard to, you know, let them know, hey, this is what's going on with Jaden, Janiyah, Jakala. Like this is what's going on with this particular child, and like, hey, what input do you have as far as doctors, as far as even when it comes to picking out our kids' schedules. Like we have 2 in high school, 1 at a graduate next year, so the courses he take now are critical, prepping for ACT, SAT, things like that, college fees, applications, things like that. Like we want them to be a part of it. But going back to what I was talking about, I had got to a place where I didn't know how to balance rewarding and punishments. Like our kids are spoiled, and I did a lot of the spoiling because of my occupation with us being in the military and deploying a lot. You know, I know nothing beats physically being there, but as a parent, when you leave your kid, no matter how old they are, you want to try to make up for it. So they would send me stuff on Amazon like, Mom, I want this, or Mom, can you get that? And guess what I did? Put it in the cart, check out, bam. Like literally there was no real boundaries. If they wanted it, they got it. And so when I got home, you know, I'm still in that mode because that's what worked for me, because I had a problem balancing being the disciplinarian and being the nurturer. So when Monty came in the picture, he's of course naturally the male head of the house, disciplinarian. So at first my kids was like,
I seen the spoiled in them. I seen it.
I did it.
In the attitude, and you know how they handled themselves, how they took care of their stuff. And I didn't want to come off mean, but at the same time, you know, you gotta nip some things in the bud. Like, you don't do that. You don't do that. You know, you gotta lead them in the right direction. Teach them respect. Not saying my kids didn't know respect already.
Nah, if it broke, they didn't care, because they knew that all I got to do is ask Mom, and she gonna get another one.
Slide with me.
So
it's broke. That junk is gone.
So when he came in, you know, as far as our children, we firmly believe in spare the rod, spoil the child. So you can get a punishment, or you can get that behind tap, like one or the two. Granted, it's never boiled down to Monty having to like spank our kids. I think I've only spanked 1, maybe 2 since I've been back. So yeah, I can count on one hand. They have to do something extreme, but we'll punish.
Yes.
So for me, I'll be like, hey, give me your phone for a couple hours. That's punishment. Monty looking at me like, what is that? So his punishment were like a week to begin with. Like nothing was less than a week. So the kids were like, you know, Mom, you let him do this. Mom, you let. So I had to show them, like, we're united front. You're not going to play me because he's not your biological father, because he is doing that. He is taking care of you. He's putting into this household, so you're going to respect him. Now, behind closed doors, there were nights where I was like, yo, you didn't have to be that harsh. Like you went to the extreme. And we've had, behind closed doors, we've had disagreements on how we reacted to certain situations, but we never let the kids see that. And even in communication with their fathers, like it's not always the best, but we try to make the best out of the situations. Again, some are there consistently for their kid, and the other not so much. So, you know, when they have issues or problems and it deals with their biological father, we try so hard to come from an unbiased place and put ourselves in their shoes and give them the best advice possible. You never want to make your opinion of their father or their mother the kids. However you feel, that's your feelings. You can't project that on your child, because then that child might grow up to resent their parent when it was because you still mad because your relationship didn't work out, or you still in your feelings because you don't like the new person they with. It's not about you. Once y'all have that child, that is your common, that's what brings y'all together, that child. You have to, if you could be friends, that's great, but every relationship is not going to work out like that. co-parenting isn't always, again, going to be
easy.
You know, our kids are now, thank goodness, 2 of them are at an age where they can say where they want to go. They can voice who they want to live with. If one of my kids today or tomorrow were like, hey, I want to go stay with my daddy, mommy love you, I get you summers and weekends or whatever visitation is, but if you want to go stay with your daddy, guess what, here you go, have at it. I'm never going to keep my children from their father, because they need that relationship too. And I feel like when you have bonus parents, you just have to look at it as a situation like where my child would have had only 2 parents to love them, they got 4 or they got 3, or however that situation works out. But for me, when you're blending a family, it's not about, you know, oh, this person's replacing me or anything like that. It's about that kid having more people to love and support and to care for them, you know, instead of 1 person, 2, 3, 4, you know, it's more. So you have to go into it with that mentality, and not so selfish that, again, you project your feelings of that parent onto the kid. Allow them to come up with their own opinion. Trust me, kids are smarter and more resilient than what we tend to give them credit for. And lastly, what I wanted to say, again, when we first got together, it wasn't easy. Relationships didn't happen like that, you know, but now we're, Monty's been living, we've been a joint household now for almost 2 years, and stages in relationships are different with each child, but our oldest girl, our middle child, our oldest girl, just recently, I had no idea, but she went to Monty and basically they created a song together. We'll post the link to the song when we upload this video, but listen to the words. She came up with them, but he helped tweak it, but it was all her idea. Nothing was forced. And I feel that came about because we let them naturally build their relationship. They don't call him dad. I won't let, now him, according to him, they could just call me Monty or Jamani. Nope. I tell them it's Mr. He has a title in front of it. Like that's me, but
don't bother me.
We don't force them to say dad. Now, on occasion, they'll say it. Like when they're talking to their friends, they'll be like, my bonus dad, my stepdad, or one day our youngest just caught us off guard. We was in the garage playing spades, and she gave my member that. She was like, Dad. We was like, Dad. And it took, because it didn't click to us, like she was calling him, and then she was like, oh, she called me daddy, you know. But
it warm my heart sometimes. You hear it.
So I mean, that's just, again, that's our take, our advice. You could take it for what it's worth. If it's something you can use, put it in your toolkit, use it for later. If not, hey, it is what it is. But we just wanted to share our experience. But at the end of the day, with everything that I said, what I did mean, and if you're in your feelings about what I'm about to say, that's on you. If you are a parent, mom, dad, whatever, and your relationship does not work out with your child's other parent, you do not project your feelings on how you feel about that parent onto that child. You allow that child to develop their own feelings. Why? Because that is still their mom or that is still their dad, and they still need them in their life. Let them decide.
Each relationship is very important.
Yeah.
That's why I say I'm never going to be the stepdad that's going to be like, oh, I can do what your dad doesn't, or anything like that. That's not me, and I'm not here for that. All I want is to make sure I do what I do, or what I can do to lead them on the right path, because I want to see them succeed, because I know that they can succeed. Each one of my children is smart, and I seen it when I first met them, before I even considered them my kids. I know for a fact that they are all going to do amazing things in this world, and I wouldn't change them for the world, wouldn't change Z for the world. I wouldn't change anything. I'm happy where I'm at. All the challenges that come towards me being a stepdad, I willingly and I accept them all, wouldn't change a thing, because it's worth it in the end. It's definitely worth it.
And then just seeing their,
And
for
then-
me, seeing their relationships just
Yes,
happen.
the bond. Me growing
Like,
each
oh.
bond. Some take it slower than others. It take longer. I mean, longer than others to build. But at the same time, it's still building, and they're still learning. And you know, I
see the difference.
I can totally see the difference,
A
and
lot.
feel it as well. Like I've considered myself a person that can read people pretty good. I can read people pretty good. The kids don't tell me everything, but I see from their actions how they feel towards me, and how, you know, how they react on when I tell them to do something, or when I even give my advice on something that, you know, I can see it. But that's pretty much the end of this segment of blended families. I hope we help somebody out
Said
there
something that was helpful to you.
with,
Also,
that's going through any situation of blended families. And
make sure you check out the link that we're going to post of Naya and Monty's video.
Yes.
Please, we're
Yo,
gonna
I had
like,
fun
share it as much as you like. I'm just excited that she was our child that was like in her shell, didn't really want to come out, didn't really want to talk. So to see this turnaround in her, like,
I was like, what?
Even to now, that's why we're
What?
recording in the car. She's part of a little mini series that one of the local entrepreneurs in the area, she wanted to get kids together just to teach them different life skills and things like that, and she wanted to document it, and Janiyah was chosen to be a part of that. So that's why we're coming from the car. You know, we have to make use of our time,
switching up the scenery.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
because
saying?
we still both got full-time jobs, still both soldiers. So
So
you know,
that's the end of our segment. We hope, like I said, we hope we helped everyone. Follow us on Instagram. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And Facebook now available.
Yes.
We have a Facebook page.
Different kind of love.
Just
same
started
way.
3-4 days ago. I think we're at 300 likes and follows. So if you guys can bump that up to 5.
Once we get to 500, we will do a special giveaway.
Yes.
Once we hit 500 followers on or likes, I should say, on our Facebook page.
Yes.
Also, of course, as you know, every time we do a segment, we rock something. So today it's the Support Black Colleges. So we will definitely shout you guys out. You know,
We'll put the link in the bio. Mind you, we not getting paid for this shout out.
This is something that we're doing on our own.
If we see it and we support it, we rock with you. We gonna shout it out because we love it. We want more people to be with the movement. And hopefully our kids go to HBCU.
That's what we aiming for.
Pray.
You know. But at the end of the day, I don't want to offend anybody with what I'm about to say. So if it's offensive, trust me, it's not coming from that place. But don't take our support for Black small businesses as a lack of support for others. We support everybody. So don't take our love
shows
for
good business.
Yeah. Because if it's horrible, we're going to give you a bad review.
Yes.
But don't take our...
won't review you at all.
Don't take our pride and our community as a lack of wanting to interact or try with other businesses. We're all God's children, and I love everybody that shows me love, or if you haven't wronged me, if that makes sense.
All right.
So again, go check them out. A lot of colors, and this is comfortable. It's I like it, and check it out.
Definitely. And it's fly. Yeah, baby.
This guy.
Thank y'all again.
DK3.